So we are back here again at Rinse FM HQ with me, Talina, one of the presenters here. And I am here today with Dr Dubplate. Hello.
Hello.
So I'm going to let you introduce yourself because that's apparently a fun thing to do.
Okay, well, my name's Dr Dubplate, and I run a label called EC2A.
Perfect.
Nice
Concise.
and easy. Yeah, straight to the point.
Straight to the point. All right, so let's go back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me about your journey into the industry before you were Dr Dubplate.
Yeah, I've always kind of been interested in like nightlife, like clubbing, because my old man used to manage a nightclub on Curtin Road. So once I discovered that, it was just a road of discovery of like different types of music and understanding the culture. So since about 15, I've just been on this path trying to discover where I slot and what I'm really passionate about within music. Because like initially, I didn't even think I'd DJ. I thought like you had to have some sort of musical acumen, you know? So one thing led to another, being a promoter led to, being a DJ, a DJ led to running a label and so on and so forth.
So we've got to talk about the fact that you're called Dr Dubplate. We've got to talk about where this name came from, because rumour has it, apparently, that if you go to one of your sets, you cannot track ID any of the songs. Is that impossible? They're all dubs.
I mean, yeah, I guess the name came from Nick from Dance Discs, which is, he's actually from Manchester. He runs a label called Dance Discs, and we used to chop it up and stuff. And obviously EC2A is known for like doing limited run dub plates just to get around copyright and all of that crap.
Smart.
But he was just like, oh yeah, you're the doctor of dub plates. And I was like, that's got a ring to it. Went and looked at that Instagram handle. It was free.
Sick.
And then that was literally it.
So tell me about your first ever gig that you played.
So my first ever gig would have been at Timbuktu, TB2. It was a venue in Bristol that's actually pretty prolific.
What a name.
Yeah, it was some guy called Marco Bernardi who used to run it. And like, I remember at the time, like I put this pitch to him, like, oh, we're from London, my dad runs a club. He had actually heard about it. So he was like, yeah, come meet us. He gave us a slot. At the time, I weren't DJing, but as my homies were get involved and I picked it up, I did my first set there at one of my nights. So it's a very pivotal moment for me, because I feel like it moved me from thinking I would just have to be sort of more in the background or doing the business side of things into I know you can have a taste of this.
So I want to talk about your label EC2A.
Yeah.
Before we get into the name, where it started, all of that, on Instagram it says for the people, not the heads.
Yeah, do you know what? I got a lot of stick about this. I think people were maybe taking it out of context, but I hear the arguments that were being made. So for the people, not the heads, basically my interpretation of that is, for a long time, I felt an outsider, what we were saying about cliqueiness and stuff that. I felt like I didn't match the aesthetic or the vibe that would allow you to get involved in some of these circles. So for me, ask any young aspiring producer who's hit me up with, I'll offer feedback, because I always felt like I was met with the cold shoulder.
Sure.
I remember even one time when I went Corsica, there were these lads that, they cool, whatever. I was like, oh yeah, what time are you getting to the club? They told me, they were like, oh, we're not rolling. I've got there and I've seen them all there. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was just I wanted my brand, even though, there's limited dub plates that are very exclusive. And if you don't get them, you don't get them. I get that is not for the people, for their heads, but the overall vibe of the label is accepting. I don't care if you've got one follower or 10,000, do you know what I mean? I just wanted people to know that this thing that I've created with, you know, a bunch of amazing, like-minded individuals is for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, you could be black, white, gay, whatever it is. There's no discrimination ultimately, do you know what I mean? It's just like-minded people catching a vibe and trying to keep music moving forward.
So, talking of EC2A,
Yeah.
for those people that don't know, what is it?
So it's a record label, but we do events. I guess at the foundation, it is a record label.
Record label, yeah.
It's inspired by like my upbringing and my introduction to music through my old man. He came up with the name because I basically was like, I really want to do something that like signifies my introduction and the ethos of the club.
Yeah.
So it was on Curtain Road. So he was like, why don't you just call it EC2A?
That was a
'Cause that was the postcode. And it just sort of stuck. And then that's it, basically.
I think you're wearing an EC2A ring right now as well.
Yeah,
and a top.
and a top.
I didn't even notice that.
Subtle plug.
Yeah. EC2A, my record label. So before we get into the quickfire questions, just want to talk to you a little bit about festivals. Because obviously Project 6 coming up for Rince's 30th birthday. That's why we're here.
Come on.
So what about festivals are so important to you?
I think a club night, for instance, you go to, it's like 8 hours and then you're done, back home. Festivals for me are well and truly the one time where I've just felt free. And I think because we're not of that golden 90s era of raves in the field, I think that's just the closest we're gonna get to that feeling of just freedom, being around all the people that you really love for like a number of days. It's not just in and out. It's just like, I don't know, for me, I've got some of the fondest memories of like making like, you know, real friendships that I still have today, you know? So
What's your favourite festival that you've been to and played at?
Been to and played at, it's a bit of a like basic answer, but it's just Glastonbury.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, it just has to be, just because I remember the first time I went there, you know, you hear Glastonbury this, Glastonbury that. Until you go there and you're at like Stone Circle looking over, it's a city.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind because, you know, previously I'd been to like day festivals or like a little boutique festival, which is like 2,000 people. Times that by 100 at Glastonbury, and it's like, it's next level.
I've never been, and I think it's exactly what you said. I think it's like you hear Glastonbury this, Glastonbury that. Until you're there, you don't know what it's like.
It's crazy.
Have you got 3 festival survival tips?
You gotta have 3 meals a day. Yeah. People
3 a day at a festival. That's good going. That
you gotta have like a little bacon bath in the morning, a nice lunch, and then something before you send it for the rest of the evening.
Totally.
I feel like if you're not, you're just running on empty. Secondly, hydration, especially because the last few times it's just been mad hot, and I've seen people like convulsing and shit from being like dehydrated. It's no joke. And then third of all, just be safe, innit, I would say.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like it's easy to get carried away, but you don't want to fry yourself.
No, you're
you know
totally
what I mean?
right. Especially if you're doing like 3-4 days. You've got to pace yourself.
Yeah, safety first.
Safety first.
You can tell I'm 30. I'm like, if you ask me that question, I've been like, go wild.
Go wild. Don't eat anything.
Don't eat
Don't drink anything. Don't drink
besides
any water.
alcohol.
Yeah. Besides alcohol. Okay, so let's imagine that you're going to put on a festival. Where's it gonna be? Could be anywhere. Okay. What are you gonna call it? And what 5 acts are on the lineup?
Where would it be? South of France, just because it's like.
Wow.
I mean, what's not to like about South of France?
You're on it with that
I also feel like maybe I just don't know, but there's not many motives in South of France.
I agree with you.
There should be more. What would I call it?
Dubs only.
Yeah, Dub Fest. I don't know. And then line up. Okay. So I've got to get all the EC2A All Stars. So Skeptic, Yems, and ESC Ella. just because they are like, you know, that's
family.
the next generation right there. And then for a more legendary set, I'd probably say Special Request Back to Back, Soul Mass Transit System, because I feel like I'm giving away game. If I see that lineup anywhere, I want commission.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
just saying.
And so do I actually, because I asked the question.
That's technically 5, and then I'm trying to think, like, one man has to be on there.
I was like, he's going to say one, I'm sure.
Miley Cyrus again, and then just because I love them, Girls Don't Sing.
Yes.
And you know it's going to be lit when the girls pull up. You know it's energy, wheel ups. Yeah, it's just going to be vibes.
Those girls are sick. I want to come to the festival. What do we call it again? Dubfest.
Dubfest.
I love that said we.
Very, very imaginative, but there you go.
We're keeping it in the imagination zone. Tell me about a day in the life of any artist like that you could live. Who would it be?
Yeah, so I would probably say Jean-Michel Basquiat, just because like I feel like if I was to pick a random...
these are Jean-Michel Basquiat shoes, people.
Come on.
Come on.
It's a bit of money you got on your feet right now.
Right. These are £7 million.
But I feel like if I was to pick an artist, it's a bit...
No, go with this. I love this
I feel like he was so like versatile, like, you know, like in terms of his actual art, he was involved in music, he's a fashion icon. Like, I feel like he really epitomizes the word and definition of being an artist.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you even look back, he was like, there's a record that he was on that's like, people kind of say that it was massively influential in the beginning of hip hop as we know it.
Yeah.
And like all of his art is massively based on like the art of sampling and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different reference points. I just think he's fascinating.
He is fascinating. And also, you know, he started off as a graffiti artist,
Yeah.
right? So to
Samo,
experience,
innit?
Samo was his graffiti artist name. So to experience that and then go to the levels of fame that he went to. And also the inside of his brain, if you were to live in the day of his life, you'd be in his brain.
I think I'd be like, overload. The juices are just...
Because so much going on in there. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a game for you.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Snog, Marry, Avoid, but we realised that it was maybe a bit problematic.
Okay.
So instead, I'm going to do back-to-back track collab Avoid 3 artists that are playing at Project 6.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes. So what first?
So I'm going to give you the 3 and then you just have to tell me.
Okay.
Shy FX, Eliza Rose, Subtract.
Track collab, I'll go Subtract.
Sick.
Without a doubt.
Sick.
Back to back, Eliza, because come on, she's like the undisputed, rudest DJ.
Rudest.
Especially because she would get me in my vinyl bag. She'd be like, come on, babes, let's do a little vinyl only back to back. So I'll be like, I reckon she'll get me out of my comfort zone in the best way possible. And she's got dubs for days, so it makes sense. And then respectfully avoid Shy FX just because, bro, he's been doing it since I was a wee baba, so I'm sure he won't take any offense.
I'm sure he'll be fine with it.
Swerving.
Totally. Final question I have for you. What is your go-to closing track at the moment?
So I forget the tune, and apologies to the big man Paul Wolford, because he'll probably kill me for not remembering what the actual name is.
He's coming for you.
He's coming. It's the tune that he did with Tim Reaper. It's the ODF edit, and it actually started as ODF doing just a little bootleg, but Paul, he's a man of the people, real G. He's making it official, so it's coming out soon.
Well, thank you so much. You've been lovely and interesting, and I'm so glad that you love Basquiat as much as I do.
Come on, we could talk for hours on that.
We could. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Toodles.
Peace. See you there.